Alright, let's look at some examples of solving rational equations. These can be a little tricky and there's different ways that we can tackle these. I'll try to model a couple different ways. So I've just chosen a few examples to look at. Solve the equation. So let's go ahead and look at, let me rewrite it out here just so it's a little bigger. 3 over x minus 8 plus x minus 8 over x plus 8 equals x minus 12 over x minus 8. Now one thing, this looks intimidating, there's x's all over the place, right? But how do we solve, how do we work with fractions? We can get a common denominator, that's one way. I noticed something here, x minus 8 matches x minus 8 on the other side. So maybe we can combine those right off the bat. So what if I subtracted this guy over to the other side? So that would be minus 3 over x minus 8, right? So I just subtracted that over. Then we could combine these. So I now have, let me just come over here, x minus 8 over x plus 8 equals x, well, negative 12 minus 3, so that would be minus 15, right? So x minus 15 over x minus 8. Now we still have x's all over, but this is something that most of you are pretty familiar with. We could cross multiply. That would be one way that we could eliminate these denominators. And so we can multiply these together, right? And so let's do that. So I've got x minus 8 times x minus 8 equals x plus 8 times x minus 15. Let's multiply those out, clean these up. So x squared minus 16x plus 64 equals x squared, what do we got, minus 7x, right, negative 15 plus 8, and then minus, I think that's like 120, 15 times 8. Yeah, 120, just checking there on my calculator. Okay. Now at this point you may be intimidated and say, holy cow, that doesn't look any nicer. Well, remember what we're trying to do. We want to isolate x, we want to solve this equation. So let's combine like terms, see what happens. So notice x squared minus x squared, if I subtract that over, that goes away. That's really nice. It's not a quadratic anymore. How about negative 16x? What if I add 7x to both sides? So that would be negative 9x. And how about 64? Let's subtract that over. So negative 9x equals negative 184. Hey, this is looking a lot simpler, right? That's a nice little pre-algebra equation. Divide negative 9 by both sides. And let's see what we get. In fact, I'll bring up my other calculator here just to show that. So we've got negative 184 divided by negative 9. Hey, 20.4 is the answer. And that's what they show as well. So we feel pretty good about that. Okay, how about another one? Again, let me just rewrite down here. 1 over x plus x minus 38 over x squared minus 2x equals 4 over x minus 2. So this one, I don't see anything really obvious that I could combine. So let me show you another strategy. This is probably my favorite way to solve these actually. Identify the overall least common denominator, and then we're going to multiply that least common denominator through the whole thing, so by every term, and in one nice step we're going to wipe out all of our denominators, okay? So that sounds nice, but sometimes we stumble kind of identifying that denominator. So I like to factor if we need to. X squared minus 2x is x times x minus 2. Okay, so all I did was factor that. Hopefully you're with me there. Well, let's look at these other denominators. It's got an x, it's just missing the x minus 2. This has x minus 2, it's just missing the x. So x squared minus 2x, or x times x minus 2, is my common denominator. It would have everything those need, just missing a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply that by everything. Let me show that step, try to show that really clearly. So x times x minus 2 times 1, of course that's not going to change anything, that'd be over x, right? And then here, let me go ahead and show it again. X times x minus 2 times x minus 38 over x times x minus 2 equals 4 times x minus 2 all over x minus 2. Now that looks like a big mess, but look what happens. Let's simplify. X divided by x, that goes away. X times x minus 2, x times x minus 2, that goes away. X minus 2 over x minus 2, that goes away. Let's rewrite and see where we're at. So we now have x minus 2 plus x minus 38. Here's a place we need to be really careful, by the way. If that had been subtract, that negative would need to go all the way through that. We'd have had to change the sign. In this case it was plus, so we didn't. Equals 4x. Hey, that's a pretty nice little algebra equation. Let's combine like terms, see where we're at. So x plus x, 2x, negative 2 minus 38 minus 40 equals 4x, right? Let's subtract our 2x over. Let me come up here. So negative 40 equals 2x. Divide 2. Hey, x equals negative 20. A little bit of work, wasn't it? We had to do a few steps, but we get there. Okay, so again, that's my favorite way for most of these. Clean those out. Alternate, you can get common denominator, combine, then cross multiply at the end. You're going to wipe out your denominators. Different ways to tackle problems like these. Okay, let's go look at one more. Okay, again, let me just rewrite it. 1 plus 12 over x minus 1 equals 8 over 7. This might look weird because this first number doesn't even have a denominator. Well, that's okay. You could write it as 1 over 1 if that makes you feel better. Our goals are the same though. So I could find the common denominator, which would be 7 times x minus 1, by the way. Multiply that through everything. Or these are just numbers. I can combine those. I think, in fact, that's what I'm going to do. So 12 over x minus 1 equals 8 sevenths minus 1, which is 7 sevenths, isn't it? So I've got 12 over x minus 1 equals 1 seventh. Now, let's just cross multiply, right? So 12 times 7 equals x minus 1. So 84 equals x minus 1. Add that 1 over. X equals 85. And we are good to go. Okay. So again, there's some different methods. Got to follow basic algebra though. Get those denominators. Match things up. Same thing to both sides. And you're good to go. Okay. Please don't hesitate. Reach out with any questions. Know that we're here to help.